Hey everyone, it's USPTA Master Pro Stan Oley. And I want to talk to you today about having your court look and feel safe, and most of all be safe when it comes to teaching your privates and groups. I've been getting a ton of calls of what that would look like, and I've also been getting a ton of calls where GMs are saying we're not going to do lessons yet, or we feel like the pro is in danger here, or we feel like the members aren't going to come back because they feel like there's some sense of fear about coming back to the tennis courts. Well, let me tell you, if we're coming back and we're just coming back like old school normal, and we're just walking out with our racket and our hopper, I can tell you that's not a good look. Your court has got to look and feel safe. There's got to be something different about that. So what I've done here is I've created a staging area for the lessons. So it would be really nice if the court was near the parking lot where you could stage people in the cars and then stage them right before the lesson. But we know a lot of clubs aren't set up like that, whether it be indoors, outdoor large club. We want to make sure that we stage these players appropriately. So I've got cones 1, 2, 3, and 4 down the farthest, first come, first serve basis. I also have this when we go in the courts because somebody has OCD. We always have these around the house, and I'm going to tell you why here in a second. Okay, once this gate comes closed, okay, once this gate comes closed, I've been reading a lot about people saying that they should leave their gates open. This gate happens to be on the end of the court. So if you're going to leave this gate open, I would really hope that you would seek some kind of liability counsel here so that you would know that you're covered here. Because if the intent is that this gate is always closed and somebody goes back and pushes against it and falls out the gate, we just don't know. I'm not sure what that liability is, so I want to make sure the gate is closed. And I'm going to be the one only touching it and opening it. Next, as the players come into the court, number 1 goes all the way down to the end, then 2, 3, and 4. We don't want 1 stopping here and then everybody passing by 1. Okay. Next thing is, when we hang our bags, I've got a nice little S hook here that I can hang my bag on. It's just something I came up with. This is an outdoor fence with no windscreen, or you could adapt something that yourself, but it's very nice for me because I can just take this on and off, and it's really quite easy. And you're going to want to look inside the bag to kind of see what that could possibly look like. First off, I always have a wristband. That's really important for me. For somebody that has OCD, I've done this since I was a little kid because I never want to touch my face anyway. And so I always wipe like this, never touching my face. Also, I only put it on when I get on the court because I don't want to be in the pro shop maybe touching things anyway and then touch my face. So this has always been good for me all the way around. I'm going to house my towel in here. I've got my water bottle in here. I'm going to do something that is maybe a little different for this player. Maybe they normally come with something else, but this here it's going to be able to be put in the bag. It's going to stay cold, and it's also not going to leak. That's really important to my bag. I'm going to put my keys, my cell phone, and all that stuff in there as well. Now, when we're talking about the drill actually happening, whether it be a private or a group, let's say it's a group of 4 people. I mean, most places that are doing groups are stopping it at 4. And I think cardio tennis is easily fed with 4 people. I think you'd have an absolute blast out here with 4 people. So I'm doing my group. My first player here is in line. They go ahead and hit. My second player is back here in the yellow zone. Third player and fourth player back over there in the ad court. I come up, I hit whatever drill it is. I come back. This player is already staging to hit a ball as well. I come back in the yellow zone and wait my turn. And again, we're keeping great social distancing practices in doing this. Let's take a walk over here to our sanitizing station. This is completely homemade, I get it. But again, it's really important that you have something like this on the court. I've got some sanitizer, I've got some more hand sanitizer here. I've got paper towels that are disposable so I can sanitize and throw those away. Something that's really important here with the sanitizer, let me say that you should always be following your state and local guidelines here. Whatever it is, state, local, federal, those trump anything that we're saying here today. But I can tell you, in a lot of states that you have to label these, not only it say sanitizer, but you have to label the ingredients. So whatever you're doing, if you're making a homemade sanitizer, make sure you actually see what your state, local, federal guidelines are for such a product. Next, I've got this out here. This is a court that I'm working on. I feel very comfortable, so when I leave, I'm going to pack all this away. But if it's a permanent sanitizing station, which that's coming about, there's a lot of companies making these now, so you may want to look into that. There's certain heights that this has to be as well, so to make sure that a child couldn't get it if nobody was out here. Another really big thing here is that when you're out here with your sanitizer, make sure you have somewhere that you can throw the trash away and it's easy to dispose of. Next off, come back here. Now, from a teaching standpoint, I said it's got to look and feel a little different. Okay, maybe you've never taught with a ball machine before. This is really important because we've had 6 weeks off to get better. And if you walk out there with your ball hopper and it's just the same old thing, they're gonna say, well, they had 6 weeks to do something better and I still see the same lesson. So I've got a ball machine out here. I've got a pickup device that's very fast. My ball machine has a hopper lid, so when it's not in use, the balls aren't being touched or stolen. I use a remote here. I can use my watch as my remote, and I can use my phone to make the drills. So that's a really important thing because then I'm not ever touching the balls as a pro. The members are never touching the balls. It's a really great experience. And so now let's walk to the other end again. I'm going to stop at the sanitizing station, put some sanitizer on my towel, and let me say, this is not really, I don't see this as being a phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3 thing. I would like to see this a phase forever, because in a health club, it's general etiquette that you wipe down everything before you leave if you're sweating. And in tennis, players walk over and they sit in a chair, they're soaking wet, they touch the table soaking wet, they sweat on the table soaking wet, and then they just get up and leave cups and all that behind. I would like to feel comfortable as the next player up that I could sanitize the table myself and feel good about that. Let's come on back here now. Let's say the lesson is now over, okay? The lesson is over, the bags are gone. This bag is now gone. I'm gonna sanitize this like that, and I'm also gonna sanitize my sanitizing station or anything around that somebody may have touched. I'm gonna make sure that I do that. And again, before I leave, I'm the host. I'm the one going to be opening the gate and letting my players out. And again, anytime we stop for a drink, we're staged. If we stop for me to talk about something, something we're working on, they're staged. Anytime that there's any stoppage of play, we're gonna be staged at our cones. That's really important because you may stage them coming in, they got their bags, and then they just kind of walk willy-nilly around all the place. They've got to get comfortable with every time there's a stoppage in play. When I'm picking up balls, they go and get staged. And they're close enough they can communicate with each other, but again, they're practicing social distancing. Again, it's gotta look and feel safe. When you go back out to these restaurants and hotels like I do, I better see things differently. I don't want to see food on the menu. I don't want to see touching dried food on the menu. I don't want to have my hand stuck to a salt shaker. All this stuff that I'm used to seeing, I want that fixed with something that's been adaptive in this environment that could be forever. So just make sure we've had all this time to be able to make ourselves better. Try to make this as different as possible. Videotape it for your members. Videotape it for your general managers. That way they can see before they come out how they're going to feel and how this is going to look safe to them. One quick thing, I did mention cardio tennis. When they're feeding, one thing, a doctor in 2005 wrote an article about how it is safer to use a ball machine to feed cardio tennis if you're actually feeding cardio tennis, because it would take two persons, one to monitor and one to feed. He wrote an article saying it was much safer to use the ball machine. So if you have any questions about any of this stuff, any concerns, I'm going to put that article in the comments. but please reach out to me. I've got division leaders, I've got pros. I say I'm inundated. I'm getting 6-7 calls a day. That's a lot for me. And so just discussing these matters. So please reach out to me if you have any questions. Have a great week.